Hello and welcome to Listen Bro. My name is Ethan. I'm here with my brother and co-host,
I'm Joe.
and this is episode 4. I was thinking about that last night when I was researching. We,
Yeah.
I think the first idea to do a podcast was like 2.5, 3 months ago, and
Yeah. And now we're already on episode 4.
yeah, look, we're actually doing it.
Yep. Yep. And doing it fairly consistently too.
Yeah, we've only missed 1 week, I think, so we're doing all right. Anyways, this is a storytelling podcast, and I'm gonna start by telling Joe a story I found, and we're going to go back in time to America's Wild West.
Okay.
Cowboys, outlaws, and lawmen. July 24th, 1880.
Okay.
And we're in Tombstone, Arizona, which Tombstone is famous for the Earp brothers and their shootout at the OK Corral. That is not what this story is, but I came across the start of the story in a book about Tombstone that I'm reading. It's called Tombstone by Tom Clavin. And this story was just like 2 sentences long in the book, but I was like, that sounds interesting.
Okay.
So
I
I
was
looked
gonna
into it.
say
But
2 sentences all together. That's a
yeah,
short one, Ethan.
yeah, we're gonna be done in 30 seconds today. No. All right, so let me introduce you to a man named Tom Waters, living in Tombstone, Arizona. And Tombstone is a mining town. That's why the town sprung up. They struck silver near the town, so a bunch of people flooded the area and they built up the town based on mining.
Yeah.
Tom Waters was one of those guys, and he was out and about on a day off work, and he was known as kind of a clever guy, except when he was drinking. He was quite the opposite.
Yeah, that'll do that.
Yeah. So Tom Waters had recently, I believe from gambling, won a bit of money. So he went out and bought himself a brand new shirt. And this was a very loud, bright, flashy shirt.
Okay.
It was blue and black plaid. Not flashy by today's standards, but Wild West.
Yeah.
It didn't blend in with the sand, so I guess it was considered flashy. And as he's out and about wearing his brand new shirt, he started getting a lot of comments from people he'd pass. And they were made, they were good natured comments meant as a little bit of humor, but Tom had been drinking. So these comments just annoyed him and made him very angry. And he continued drinking throughout the day, and he wanders into a bar called Corrigan's Saloon.
Okay.
And at this point, he was pretty well fed up with all the comments. And he said, "Now, if any man here don't like my shirt, let him get up. I'm chief, I'm boss here, and I'll knock any man down who opens his mouth about my shirt again."
Touchy.
Yeah, a little bit. Shortly after, a man named E.L. Bradshaw walked into the saloon.
Okay.
Now, Bradshaw and Waters were actually close friends. They worked together in silver mines, and when Waters first moved to Tombstone, he actually stayed in Bradshaw's cabin for a little while. They knew each other very well. They were like best of friends. So Bradshaw walks into the saloon, sees his friend sitting there, and noticed his new shirt. So Bradshaw smiled and gave him a compliment. That set Waters off. That was too much. He had to stick to his word. So he got up and he struck Bradshaw with a heavy blow just above the left eye.
Oh.
This left Bradshaw stunned, and he fell to the floor, collapsed, out cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
One heck of a hit.
Yeah. So Waters storms out of the saloon, and immediately when he gets out onto the street, bumps into a guy named Ed Ferris, who also made a comment on his shirt. So this just made Tom Waters more and more angry, and over the course of the day, his anger just got worse, and he may have got into a few fights, and he ended up back at Corrigan's Saloon drinking some more.
My goodness, they need to cut him off.
Right? Well, in the meantime, when Bradshaw woke up, he went and cleaned himself up, put a bandage over his wound, and he went to his cabin and grabbed his gun.
Oh.
So he came up the street, and he took a seat in front of another saloon called Vogan and Flynn's Saloon. and he's just watching for Waters.
Mm-hmm.
So he spotted him, realized he was in the door of Corrigan's, where, he had hit Bradshaw earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So Bradshaw makes his way over to confront him, and Bradshaw asked him, he just walked up and was like, "Why did you hit me?"
Mm-hmm.
So he tried diplomacy. He tried to talk. Waters just responded with profanity and threats.
Oh, man.
So Bradshaw drew his weapon and shot Tom Waters 4 times.
Jeez.
Each of the 4 shots on their own would have killed him, but he shot him 4 times. So
Wow.
Bradshaw was immediately arrested and brought before Judge Gray. However, times are different back then. He was
Mm-hmm.
found not guilty of anything and went free. I assume they considered that like self-defense or something.
Okay.
He was attacked out of the
Yeah.
blue and then
Yep.
killed the guy who attacked him. So
And then
what?
continued getting threatened when trying to
Yeah.
talk civilly. So, yeah.
So whatever it was, he ended up shooting him. Found not guilty. Well, that was 1880. So now let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
In 1887, man known as Buckskin Frank, his name's Frank Leslie. He was known as Tombstone's most notorious ladies' man. He decided he wanted a new girlfriend, and he was a bartender at the Oriental Saloon, but he spent a lot of his free time at the Birdcage Theater,
Hmm.
where he met a beautiful blonde lady of the night, if you will, named Molly Williams.
Okay.
And there was just one problem. Molly had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was a guy known as E.L. Bradshaw.
Oh.
Yeah, so he may have gotten off on murder, but now he's going to find himself tangled up with this Frank Leslie guy.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately for Frank, this little problem that he had with Molly quickly went away because one morning, Bradshaw was found with a bullet hole through his head in an alley. Obviously, everybody was suspicious of Frank, but there was no evidence to tie him to killing Bradshaw, and Frank Leslie never admitted to it.
Yeah.
But he also never denied it. But there was never any evidence to say that he definitively did it.
Yeah.
So, Bradshaw might have gotten off easy on killing his friend 7 years ago, but
Yeah.
things caught up to him. So now Buckskin Frank and Molly, after a little while, they were living together at Frank's ranch called Magnolia Ranch, and that was about 45 miles outside of Tombstone. And they bonded quickly over their mutual love of whiskey. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful start.
Yep.
So this would lead to plenty of arguments and some abuse from Frank. And during one of those arguments on July 11th, 1889, Frank shot Molly in the chest.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for Frank, there was a witness, a ranch hand named James Neal, who had the nickname of Six Shooter Jim. All these guys had nicknames. That's one thing.
Yeah.
In the Wild West, they all had nicknames. And Six Shooter Jim was a witness to the shooting. So Frank just shot Jim. That was how he dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
So the bullet passed through Jim's arm and into his chest cavity, and James Neal, he runs off. So Frank Leslie thinks, all right, got rid of my witness.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after the shooting, Frank Leslie traveled into Tombstone and contacted a man named Enoch Shattuck, he is the undersheriff, to tell him what happened.
Okay.
And Leslie tells Shattuck that James Neal shot and killed Molly. And in self-defense, he had to shoot and kill James Neal.
Mm-hmm.
So not exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what Frank Leslie didn't know is that after being shot, James Neal ran about 1.5 miles to the Reynolds Ranch, where first aid was administered, and he was quickly transported to Tombstone for proper care.
Okay.
And James Neal had already talked to Shattuck and told him what happened. And he was in the next room over when Frank showed up to tell Shattuck his side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So he overheard the conversation there that Frank Leslie was having. So Neil gets up and moves over to that room, and Frank Leslie sees him.
Could you imagine the fear that Frank had?
Yeah, like
Saw a dead man walking.
right. And when Neil came into the room, Frank Leslie looked at him, and all that Frank could say after that was, "My head hurts. I can't remember a thing." Now, Jim, he survived. He survived his injuries, and he would go on to testify in court against Frank. There were people that went out to the ranch and found Molly's body buried out behind the house, and they dug it up and observed it, saw that she was shot in the chest. He was found guilty, and he was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and he had, I don't know if it was like during the course of the trial when he was in jail or whatever, but he had confessed to killing 14 people at some point.
Holy cow.
So he was finally doing some jail time.
Yeah, well deserved.
25 years. Yeah. And after about 7 years, he was paroled. Like even in today's world, if you get like a 25-year prison sentence, a lot of times you have to serve like 40% or so of your sentence before you're even eligible for parole.
Yeah.
He served like just barely over a quarter of his sentence. So after his release, he traveled to California and he got married. And Frank Leslie reportedly traveled to Alaska during the Klondike Gold Rush before moving to San Francisco and settling in there where he was running a pool hall.
Okay.
1920 census records Frank Leslie 77 years old, unemployed, and single. And by 1922, he had disappeared from public records completely, but some people believe he might have been a broke homeless guy who died in 1930 in San Francisco, who also went by Frank Leslie. So they kind of
Okay.
tied the things together, assumed it might be the same guy.
Yeah.
But there's no great, there wasn't great record keeping for a guy like that.
Yeah.
And one little side note here that I came across, there in Tombstone, Arizona, there's a little graveyard called Boot Hill Graveyard.
Okay.
So a bunch of people that were shot in scuffles there ended up being buried there. And there's a headstone in the Boot Hill Graveyard which reads 6-shooter Jim, 1885, shot by Burt Alvord.
Who's that?
He was a deputy sheriff or something like that at one point, but then he ended up turning into being like a train robber. He was one of those like good guys turned bad guys story.
Yeah.
But the thing that caught my attention was this 6-shooter Jim who Frank shot and tried to blame. The headstone, it doesn't say James Neal. All it says is 6-shooter Jim. But there's like a Find a Grave website has it listed as James Neal. But when Molly was killed by Frank, that was in 1889. So Jim, it couldn't have been the same Jim.
Yeah.
I tried looking up James Neal, and really that is the only information you get on him is that headstone and the story about Molly. And I also looked into that Burt Alvord, and he would have been at like in 1885, that Burt Alvord would have been like 17, 18 years old, I think. But there were no stories about him from that time period. So I couldn't find anything to say for sure.
Huh.
But if you look up James Neal, 6-shooter Jim, it all lists him as dying in 1885, but then tells a story of him in 1889.
So they were both dead men walking.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird, but yeah, so that's my story. Like I said, I started with the shirt, and I couldn't find enough information on that. So I was like, oh, okay, let me see if I can find it. What happened to E.L. Bradshaw? And then I found that he was killed in a suspicious way. And then I was like, oh, well, what happened to the guy that killed him? And
Yeah. Yep.
that's kind of a fun little trail you can go down with these Wild West stories is like, this person killed this person. Well, What happened to that person? They ended up being killed by some other person.
Everybody just killed each other out there.
Yeah, just wild stories and crazy nicknames, one right after another.
Yep. You know, I heard a while ago about like a lot of the towns out west, if they weren't a mining town, a lot of times it was like wherever the women would decide to go.
Yeah, they'd set up brothels and stuff.
Yep. And that would like they would practically run the town
Mhm.
behind the scenes kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, the women would set up, like, brothels, hotels, same
Mhm.
building, run the brothel out of the hotel, but
Whenever you said that Frank was ladies man, that made me think of that.
yeah. Yeah, and, I mean, that's how, like, Wyatt Earp met one of his wives, was she was a lady of the night. That's actually a fairly common thing.
Yeah. Well, for mine, it's a very different route than any of the ones that I did before.
Okay.
Do you know what Steam is? It's the gaming software.
Is that, like, streaming?
Uh, People will stream on it, but it's just for games.
Oh, okay.
But it's called Steam. It's owned by a company called Valve.
Okay.
So back in
Steam
20
valve.
Valve Steam,
Valve
technically, but
Steam,
yeah.
okay.
But
I was picturing, like, a steam engine.
no, very different time frame.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, though, Valve tried to make a device that they called a Steam machine. So Steam is a PC gaming software.
Mhm.
So their Steam machine, they also
Okay.
came out with a controller to go with it,
Mhm.
and they wanted to make it more of like a console so you could play it in your living room. So we're trying to branch into that area. But instead of them building all the machines and stuff for it, they kind of just let other people use their stuff
Mm.
as long as they got some credit for it.
Yeah.
And it failed terribly. They did not do good with it at all.
Okay.
Fast forward to November of this year, Steam announces that they are going to remake the Steam machine,
Okay.
but this time they're not going to give any rights or any software, anything to anybody else.
Mhm.
The reason that's important is because all of the games that are Sony or like PlayStation exclusive or Xbox exclusive
Mhm.
are on Steam.
Oh,
You can play them on your computer from Steam. So
interesting.
now Steam is coming in making their own Steam machine, which is
Yeah.
going to be they're marketing it as a PC for your living room
Mhm.
to be used as a console, but you can use it as a desktop PC, like a gaming PC, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So, since they're kind of branching into the console area again,
Mhm.
and now that they have rights to all of these games that are exclusive to Sony or
Mhm.
Xbox, one of their owners came out and was like, "Can you please just let us use your software? We'll give you this much of a percentage of anything bought on your software."
Yeah.
And Steam was like, "Nope, tried that before. You guys laughed at me pretty much." So there's a very big chance Xbox has been kind of going downhill lately. There's a very big chance that Steam within the next few years could dethrone Xbox.
Well, you said through Steam, you have access to PlayStation and Xbox games. So if you get the Steam console, you can still play all those games.
Yep, so there's no
But if you
point in
get
having
yeah,
either one
so
of those then.
but then there are separate games that are exclusive to Steam?
Yes, there's
Okay.
thousands and thousands of games on Steam.
Yeah. So then if you had the Xbox, you couldn't play any of those games. I see.
Yep.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of speculation with this though, because they have been very bland with giving information about it.
Mhm.
up until like just the last week pretty much. So basically they released the specs that are going to be for this console slash PC device.
Mhm.
They slightly on the low end for a console when you compare them to PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah.
And they're very much on the low end whenever it comes to a high-end gaming PC.
Right. Yeah, those are crazy expensive, right?
Yeah. But to be able to be in the bracket that they're in and technically have a chance of competing with both,
Mhm.
they're basically trying to appeal, hey, it's a console, come buy it for the console aspect, but if you would rather use it as a PC, it's not going to be appealing to the hardcore gamers. It's going to be appealing to the doing light gaming occasionally on your PC, basically.
Right.
But then those people don't really need a PC dedicated to that. They'll
Mm.
typically just game on their own laptop or anything like
Mhm.
that then. So, because they're making it a PC though, technically, it's gonna be in a different price range than a console. So, right now, they're guessing because they haven't fully released the price range, but reporters are guessing that it's gonna be between $600 and $800.
Okay.
The most expensive Xbox is $650.
Ah.
And this is just the base model. They don't have like a higher tier of this or anything.
Yeah.
And it's starting out more expensive than the most expensive console for sale isn't going to be an easy buy-in for people on the console front then.
Right. Especially if you've always been a PlayStation or Xbox
Yeah.
guy,
Yep.
then switching. Yeah.
The people it's going to be more appealing to would be the ones that really like the idea of playing a game, but they don't want to be limited to just Sony games or just Xbox games.
Mm.
They kind of want like, say you want to play, so Xbox owns all rights to Halo. Say you want to play Halo, but you also want to play Spider-Man. Sony owns Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You'd have to own both devices, which would end up being $1,500 almost.
Right.
Whereas with this, you can get just one, and it's going to
Yeah.
be a good deal compared to that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought it was really funny with the fact that like Xbox is coming in like, please let us have rights to use your software.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I guess they've been planning this for a while because have you heard of a Steam Deck?
I've heard of it. I don't really know what that is.
It's a handheld gaming device that is run by Steam. Steam built
Oh,
it.
okay.
So it's owned by Valve. But they also within the past year released a VR headset
Mhm.
that you can play their games that are compatible with VR on it then. So they've been experimenting with building like physical product that is good for gaming. So even though the specs aren't amazing whenever it comes to the PC side of it, technically they're better than what they look on paper because Valve has came up with something to replace Windows.
Oh.
They now have a Steam OS is what it's called.
Mhm.
And the idea is to like they built it for gaming.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better to run a game. It can still run other normal PC stuff,
Mhm.
but Windows sucks for gaming.
Okay.
So that's where they're trying to be like, okay, if you just use a PC, like if you use your computer casually,
Yeah.
but you do game a couple nights a week or something like that, this would be the one for you because it still does everything your PC can do,
Right.
but it's a lot better on the gaming front than a typical laptop or if you'd go buy just a generic desktop PC.
Mhm.
So,
Interesting. I wonder because if they're launching their own computer OS,
mhm.
then I wonder what kind of compatibility they're going to have with Mac and Windows apps. just downloaded softwares and stuff, whether things will be compatible or if that's going to take some time.
I'm not sure on that side of things,
Yeah.
but they did say that it would be able to replace your PC.
Yeah.
So I would imagine there's some compatibility with it at least because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people use a lot of those apps.
Right. Yeah, there'd have to be.
But yeah, they still haven't technically released a price yet. It's all just speculation at this point.
Yeah.
But this is what I was telling you that I have been like almost every day there's an article that pops up on my phone and I'm reading it and just it's an interesting thing to follow
Yeah. See
because
if it,
this is a underground company who's barely dabbled in physical products
right.
that is having one of the biggest console developers like actually scared.
Yeah, and that could kind of shake up the gaming industry a bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't I'm not a gamer at all, so I don't really know much about it, but like
I'm a casual, like couple
yeah.
nights a week. I'll play on my computer for maybe an hour.
Yeah. What's the breakdown? Like are more people
So what they're I don't know like exactly if more are PC or if more are console, but
Mhm.
I will tell you that whenever it comes to PC gaming, it has a lot better graphics and refresh rate
Okay. Yeah.
than a console does.
Mhm.
So they're trying to and a lot of console players will say that they wish they had the better stuff, but
Yeah.
they don't want to go and play on a PC because it's a lot different playing on a keyboard than it is a controller.
Right.
So they're kind of trying to appeal to those ones a little bit with it
Mhm.
and get them to have the PC experience with the better graphics and refresh rate, etc., and then still be able to play it in your living room or wherever as a console.
Yeah.
So I don't know necessarily which one there's more of,
Mhm.
but they're trying to appeal to both sides very heavily.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, could be, like I said, it could shake up that market a bit.
But yeah, the one thing that people are a little bit concerned with is if Xbox does kind of lose its top seat there along with PlayStation, if Xbox falls to Steam, will PlayStation up their prices?
Right.
Because then they are the best console that's a console only.
Right. But you're missing out on a ton of games that way.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
But it's also the nostalgia. You got your people that'll never leave Xbox or never leave PlayStation. They'll complain about the price
Right.
all the time, but they will always buy that brand because that's the only brand they've had.
Yeah.
So, unless those people are the minority, then I don't see much happening with the Steam machine. But I think it's interesting that their last attempt was 10 years ago
Yeah. Right. That's quite a
and they're
while.
like diving into it and just shaking up everything.
Yeah. What I guess cuz like my only experience with gaming was really as a kid, and we had PlayStation, and then when I was an adult living on my own, I did buy an Xbox,
Okay.
and I owned it for like a year,
Mhm.
but
Didn't play it much.
I didn't play it much. And at that point, I probably hadn't even played a PlayStation in 5, 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Like it'd been quite a while. It wasn't like I played that all the way up until I moved away. But
Mhm.
even that, like I was just used to the PlayStation controller.
Mhm.
Even not being a hardcore gamer, like that was enough of a hurdle that I sucked at everything I tried to play on Xbox.
Yep. Gotta
And
relearn it. I mean, it's a very different setup.
yeah, and I ended up, which I sold my Xbox. I bought it on sale. It was like I don't know if it's Black Friday or something. I got it
Okay.
on sale for a pretty good price, and then I owned it for like a year. I ended up selling it to a friend of mine and basically sold him the Xbox for what I paid for it, but I turned it on to like factory reset it before I gave it to him,
Mhm.
and I hadn't. It said it needed to install an update from 9 months ago. Like it hadn't even been powered on
My.
since then. So like I said, I just didn't.
Okay, yeah.
I sucked at every game I tried.
So you just didn't even feel the need to do it then?
Yeah, and like I played Madden and FIFA a lot on the
Yeah.
PlayStation,
Yep.
and I had those games on the Xbox, but like even those is just
My, yeah.
so bad at. And it might have even just been that I hadn't played in so long, but
So, funny you mentioned about the controller difference because that controller that Steam has released,
mhm.
it's the same design as the one that they released 10 years ago. Like, pretty much the exact same controller, just they changed a few internal stuff.
Okay. What is it?
The controller?
Is it
Or is it
like an is it similar to one of the others or is it kind of its own thing?
it's similar to the others, as in it has like the XYZ
Mhm.
buttons, like those 4 buttons on the right side, and
Yeah.
then it has the buttons on the left side pretty much mirroring the right side, but the joysticks are touchpads that are clickable because it is a PC. So they have the touchpad
Mm.
that you can use.
Yeah.
It still has like the trigger buttons and stuff on the bumpers,
Yeah.
but yeah, touchpads would be quite the change to get
Yeah, that
used
would
to.
yeah. Yeah, that would feel a whole lot different in your hand.
My, yeah. But they've experimented that with the Steam decks that they have, those handheld ones. So
Yeah.
people already use that.
Mhm.
So they obviously have hope with it.
Right. Do I know there used to be like the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah, they still do make one. It's
Okay.
very different.
Yeah.
They stopped making them for a few years, and then Steam basically reignited the flame for people wanting a handheld, and now
Mhm.
Xbox has partnered with Asus in the past year. It actually released this August for their handheld. So Asus computer brand
Mhm.
has some Xbox software on a handheld that they make.
Okay.
And then PlayStation started making their handheld and now again as well. But that all ignited because of Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Steam Deck, I guess. Yeah, and you have like that and the Nintendo Switch is
Yes,
like a
and
handheld and
that was the other thing. Some of the reporters are saying that another thing that Steam kind of has going for them is Nintendo has proven that even if you don't have the best quality stuff for what you're making, you can still sell it at a high price point sometimes.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah, if
they
you're the only
probably will
one
be able
making
to
it.
sell quite a bit at that $600 to $800 range.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I see that stuff and think like, kind of wish I was a gamer for some things.
Mhm. That's the thing is I really didn't play anything for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have the occasional download a game on my phone, play it for a week or 2, and then delete it.
Right.
But I recently I bought, like or didn't buy, I downloaded Steam, and I have actually found quite a few games on there that I've enjoyed playing that I had no clue even ever existed.
Yeah.
Like, they have crazy simulator games, there's farming simulator,
Mhm.
and it's very, very detailed. Like, it uses more buttons on the keyboard than any other game I've attempted.
Oh, really?
It's oh, it was so difficult, I didn't really play it for too long,
Yeah.
but there's all those, they have your goofy games,
Mhm.
there's climbing games, there was one that was really popular recently, and then it also has all of your big name games as well, such as the
Yeah.
Maddens and anything exclusive to either brand then too.
Yeah.
So it has so many games to offer
Right.
that I just kinda logged on just to see what it had one day,
Mhm.
and I ended up downloading the game not long after. It just has
Yeah.
so much that almost anybody'd be able to find something to like on it, I think.
Well, and this is literally the first I've heard of this. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
anything
figured.
about the gaming world, but, like, in my mind, just off of this conversation, it's like, well, if I was gonna buy a gaming console, I'd buy the Steam machine.
Yeah, like,
They really
slightly more
missed
expensive, but
they really messed up not just calling it a Steam engine.
they did. I like that.
That's
Yep.
all I can think when you all the
I'm
times you've said Steam machine, I'm like, "Steam
I'm not
engine."
gonna lie. When it first started coming out, I was very skeptical in the name. I was like, "A Steam machine?"
Yeah. Yeah, the
But
Valve Steam engine. That sounds like something some middle-aged dad would want in his truck.
yeah.
A Valve steam engine.
Yep, man.
Interesting.
Better than a Cummins.
Yeah, and you can market it that way. Forget your Power Stroke. Try the new Valve steam engine.
Oh, man. Could you imagine if somebody tried advertising a steam anything to replace, like, your engine with steam engine?
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Yeah. But that was pretty much it with that. I just figured I've been really interested in it lately.
Yeah,
Why not talk about it? I know quite a bit of details on it because I'm reading so many articles on it. They're hoping to release it next spring. And
okay.
as long as it stays good news for it, honestly, I'm kind of right there with you. I may end up getting one.
Yeah, it'd be
Give it a
something to
little
watch
bit,
for.
make sure people actually give it good reviews and stuff too.
Yeah, and the gaming industry, at least from my perspective as an outsider,
Mhm.
it's like for as long as I can remember, it's been PlayStation and Xbox, and then like now you have the
Nin
Switch kind of
Nintendo
entered, but
had, like, the Wii and stuff that was
right,
really big for a while, and then they phased out, and now they have the Switch again.
right, and like the Wii was like a short period of time where the
Yeah.
other two major consoles continued and kept upgrading. Where
Yep. Now one
it's
of
like,
those might be dethroned a little bit, and that's
yeah, yeah,
crazy for anybody in our generation to
yeah,
like, the ones that they know were there forever throughout anytime you'd want a games.
yeah. It's like when Tesla, Rivian, any of those electric car companies
Mhm.
were created, it's like, wow, there's a brand new name in the decades and decades long.
Yep.
It's always been the same handful of big car manufacturers, but now you've got these companies that are only 10, 20 years old,
Mhm.
and you see those cars everywhere because it's
You
new and
do.
different.
Yep.
So
Uh,
that could be the same thing.
even like that Aptera. Have you
Mhm.
heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Is that the like
The
super aerodynamic one?
three-wheeled super
Yeah.
aerodynamic. They are advertising it as more aerodynamic than was it the Series X
Mm.
or something that's like whatever Tesla is the most
Yeah.
aerodynamic. Theirs is more. And you can put solar panels all over the thing and recharge it like that. And it actually does recharge up to 40 miles a day, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, for the average person's commute.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
they have struggled getting it out for so long that now people are like, okay, I don't know if there's even a point in it because by the time they do get it released, the batteries are going to be outdated. Um,
Right.
Tesla's going to have better batteries than they do now. And it's just, but if they would have been able to release a couple years ago,
Mhm.
I think that would have done the exact same thing to the electric car community as the
Yeah.
Steam machine's doing to like the console community. So,
Mhm. Well, and that's what capitalism does is like one company does something better, now you have to catch up and you have to do something better than them.
yep,
So,
yep. It's just
PlayStation and
not
Xbox.
often that the biggest ones
Yeah.
get dethroned, but every once in a
Right.
while you got somebody that comes up as a contender.
Right. And you look at like Ford, the F-150 has been the best-selling vehicle for how many years in a row,
Mhm.
and they got on board with the electric.
Yeah.
Make an electric F-150. It keeps people that want the F-150 but also want an electric vehicle.
Well, now there's that Slate truck.
Yep. I'm on the wait list. I paid the $50 to be on the wait list.
Yeah, I think that's a cool truck.
I think it's a cool idea. The
Yeah.
fact that you could buy a bare bones truck and then 2 years later buy the rest of the cab to turn it into a small SUV.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I don't see it being a truck for me.
Yeah.
It
Kind
would
of a
be,
grocery hauler.
yeah, it's not big enough. It doesn't have the capacity to really be a towing
Yeah.
truck, hauling
And
truck,
it
but
already has a smaller range to it, I believe.
yeah, it's
So you
yeah.
put anything behind it, that's just gonna take a
Yeah,
major toll. So yeah, I
but
I definitely don't see it being a major truck, but
it's like building a house and not finishing the basement and then getting to it later. It's like you can buy the bare bones truck and then not spend that money on the initial upfront purchase and then down the road buy some add-ons, turn it into an SUV, put a second row seats in it.
yep. Yeah, I think that concept is really cool because
Yeah.
every few years you could get a different car essentially maybe,
Mhm.
but it's the same thing. You're just changing it slightly.
Yeah, or if you're the kind of person that doesn't need a truck very often and any time you would need a truck it's like to haul a couch or something. Like
Yeah.
you don't
Yep.
need a big F-250 to tow thousands and thousands of pounds. Like, well, you could have the slate, and I don't know exactly how difficult it would be to remove the, SUV top,
Mhm.
but just the
But it
fact that you
would
could,
be removable. Yeah.
yeah, for that one
Yeah.
weekend when you need a truck,
Yeah. Yep.
that's kind of what I think's cool about it.
Mhm.
Right now, my daily
Plus
driver is a small SUV, so
it would probably get, or I don't know, maybe it would get better like mileage
mhm,
in the truck version. So say you found something on Facebook Marketplace and it's a little bit further away than what you'd want to do with your SUV, maybe because it's less weight on it. I don't know if it'd be
yeah.
comparable
Yeah, I don't know how the weight
or like
versus aerodynamics
yeah, that's the
would
other
play
thing
out,
is,
but
but if it would make a difference in that way, then that would also be an idea is to get you a little bit more range then.
right. You know what I'd love to have? Have you seen the Jetson one?
Jetson 1? No.
It is it's like the size of a go-kart with like a roll cage all around it and everything,
Okay.
but it's a quadcopter.
My
It flies. It looks like an oversized drone, but it like the cockpit in it looks more it's all open aired like a
I think I've
go-kart.
seen somebody on that form of one before. I think I've seen a picture of that before.
Yeah, they're not they don't have a whole lot of flight time. I think it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but still,
But yeah, and
that's
it's
cool.
right, and it's software limited to 63 miles per hour, but 20 minutes at 63 miles per hour.
And you can fly straight
Yeah,
towards it wherever you're going instead of
yeah,
making all the road turns and stuff.
yeah, and you're not supposed to need any kind of pilot's license. Like
Yeah.
it's not a full on airplane that requires that. But yeah, I think one of those would be pretty sweet.
Could you imagine? Do you know if they're possible to be made street legal?
The Jetson one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an aircraft, not a street.
Yeah, but it can drive.
Can it?
Or I thought
Think it. I don't think it has wheels. Like I think it's just a
okay, okay.
quadcopter.
Okay. Never mind. I was gonna say, could you imagine just like flying it over to Walmart
Yeah.
and then turn it into the one with wheels? But I thought that it was the one that had like the retractable
No, I don't think
wheels, but
so. I
I
think
could
it
be
just
thinking of
kind of
something
sits
different.
on. I think it just has like skids that it sits on the ground with.
Okay.
But yeah, and
That'd
like
still be cool though.
it'd be cool. I don't know what the practical application is like when you
Yeah.
because if stuff like this starts coming out, then they're going to start putting out traffic rules for
Mhm.
your flying.
Mhm. People can register their property as a no-fly zone possibly because you're not gonna be super high off the ground.
Yeah, or even just the
So,
legality of
trespassing.
or not not just that, but like the legality of parking it
Oh,
somewhere, like,
yes.
fly
Yep.
it to work. Can you do that
Parking
and just
lots would
park it?
have to
Like,
make a landing zone area.
yeah. It says the service ceiling of the thing is 1,500 feet above the ground up to 10,000 feet above sea level,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
pretty good to get up that high.
Yeah. I figured it was something you're going just a little bit over the trees.
Yeah, no, 1,500 feet above the
Yeah.
ground is pretty good.
Yep.
The minimum you're allowed to fly over most places in a small airplane is 500 feet. So
Okay.
it'll do triple that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that wraps this one up.
Yeah. It was just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, don't mind our rambling at the end. Yeah, anyways, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please leave a comment, rate, review, like, whatever the platform you listen on allows you to do.
And check us out on Instagram.
Yeah, check us out on Instagram. We're trying to do better about posting pictures throughout the week related to the topics that we've talked about.
Yes. Yep.
And go check out our previous episodes. We're still figuring out some of the tech stuff and all that, so expect things should only get better.
Yes. Yes.
But thanks for listening. Catch you in the next one.